So now we are going to make edible lace. Okay, so the lace paste is a pretty simple, straightforward paste. You could just follow the recipe and then get the paste made, and it could be colored in the shade we want. And the one that I am going to make now is the same color, unicolor to the tier of the cake that I have already made. So these are some of the lace mats that I have. I just wanted to show. So this could be like one patch and that is the other patch, and we would be needing, like, if you're going to make both, then to cover up the entire cake. And that is like a really pretty design. But you could just keep buying them whenever you see like anything just comes out unique in the market. And this is like a really pretty one, another one. These are just bands. And this is another pretty one which has like really thicker um, areas and like very dainty and simple thin areas as well. These are pretty old, but then they are a very classic design. And these are like the fall leaves, and they are individual ones. And some more. This is also like two of them together, and then they come in handy when we're just going to put them around and then wrap up the entire cake. Another thin one. But then these are like pretty old molds, just cover up the entire sides and in the border only, like just at the bottom, because now if we have like taller tiers, then we wouldn't have enough of it to just have it to the entire height of the cake. This is just to show you some of the molds that I have. Right now I'm just going to choose one of this to work. And just I want to do it on this one, so I'm just going to put these aside. So you already have the lace paste here, and then colored as well, and that's a homemade lace paste. So I'm just going to cut the tip of the piping bag, just going to pipe over, and then I'm just going to spread it out. I'll show you how you could just go into the grooves. There will be extra which just get scraped out. So I'm just going to do for the full mat anyway, but there will be excess. And what you need is a scraper. I'm just going to spread it out. The goal is to go and cover up all the grooves. And you also should not be having gaps. Everything should be covered. Excess should be scraped, and you should not have gaps. So I'm just going to pick up and show you the areas which are covered properly, and then the areas that are having gaps, so you know how you could just go back into that specific area and then have it corrected. Now you just look at this particular rose, okay, and this flower, they are completely covered. Okay, now if you could look at this particular flower, now you could see there is a gap there, and then that needs to be filled up. Now you look at this particular flower, and then you see there is gap there, and that's need to be filled up. So I'm just going to go in. I'm just going to get the entire mat. I'm also going to show you what it would look like if you have excess. And having excess is not going to have your lace, like the lace should be with wherever there is a design, and that is exactly where the lace paste also should be. Now if you're not going to scrape properly and leave excess out there, then your lace is just going to be like a piece of cloth. So I'm just trying to show the difference between area where it is scraped well. You can see the gaps showing the pink color of the mat, and here is the area where it's not scraped well, because the areas it should be seen with a pink mat clearly. You can see the lace paste is there, and which means your lace will not peel out well. So the goal is to scrape the excess. Now in the process of scraping the excess, fill up all the gaps and leave no excess as well in the mat. So one last check I'm doing to find if there are any leftover gaps, like tiny ones also, it's good to go fix, after which just remove of the excess. Now if you're just going to scrape it off in this direction and you find the gap there, then go ahead and then scrape it off in the opposite direction, and then you're not going to get that gap. Let's see which direction it is just helping you to get rid of the gap there, whether it is filling up that part, and it should also not allow you to create more gaps or holes. Okay, so once I see the mat is completely covered right now, and all the pink areas are seeing pink, and the lace paste is not hiding up my pink part of the lace mat, and then I'm just going to allow this to rest in room temperature. But there is a baking method, but then every oven works a bit differently, and then the timing is usually like 100 degrees Celsius, and then it could be anywhere between 4 minutes to 6 minutes, or sometimes 7 or 8, and then we keep waiting for it to bake, and then you take it out and then try and peel. Sometimes the lace is like a little brittle, and but that is a quick way, like in 10 minutes you get the lace out. When this is a longer way, I prefer doing this. So we just prepare the lace ahead of time and then leave it in the room temperature overnight, and then I will do that to this lace that I have made. I'll get back after about 8 hours, and then we'll be able to just peel it out to check how the lace is coming out of this lace mat. So the lace has dried very well. I'm just going to show how I'm going to peel it out. So now we'll start with this one end, then you can see it just nicely starts to come out. Okay, but then I ideally like to not peel the lace on the top, not to put the pressure on the lace, but just invert the mat. Okay, and just get the mat out. Use your fingers, or you could use even your Dresden tool or any sharp tool for that matter, to just release this one side. Let's get these ends out. Just keep holding your hands where exactly you're peeling, so there is no pressure on the lace, so it doesn't just tear up. Just see where it is, you're unrolling the mat, just hold your finger there. Just extra careful. Maybe if you just peel it off like quickly, it could come. But depending on how much color we've added and how stable was the paste and things. So I'm being a bit extra careful just to not lose out on the lace, because this is the method where we're just going to rest it overnight, right? So if it was the baking method, then obviously you could just find one is like kind of brittle, and so you could just go ahead and then kind of make one more and then keep making until you have the right one. But this is like a sure shot method, and then you have like a cloth like lace, and that will just beautifully go on the cake, and that is homemade, and that's the best part. Okay, so you can see how nicely it's turned out. Exactly like a cloth, a lace that you could just wear, right? So now this will go on the wedding cake. So now we have made the lace. When obviously in places like this, what I would do, just take a little extra care and use craft knife to go in and then gently cut those extras. So these are the extras which we kind of scrape to see that the pink part of the lace mat should be seen, right? Like scraping off all the excess. Now given all that, most of the places are looking perfect except for this one part. So this doesn't look good on the cake, when you can also see in places like this, which we could just use a craft knife to just clean them up in between, because those minute details will reflect on the perfection of the final look of the cake. So I'll just clean up and then I will meet you in the lesson where I'm going to show you how I'm going to use the lace on the cake. So now I'm just going to stick the lace on the cake. So I have the lace here. I'm just going to check how much height I would need. Okay, so this is like a pretty tall one. So let me see, I'm just going to fold this into half, right? And then see if the height is enough. So I will be able to cut them into two and be able to use it to go around on the cake as well. So let me just cut it out. A simple scissors should do. but I just want to make sure I'm just folding it exactly into half. Just getting the scissors. It's like a cloth, right? So you just kind of cut it out like a cloth too. Just make sure you are folding it right. So just taking out 2 of these. Just check for the right side up. Okay, so I'm going to put it on the cake. Then it would be anything like this. We just put the cut side at the bottom. Now if there is a little hanging on the top, that will look good, so we don't have to kind of remove that. Okay, so that's how it's going to look. Then we want something to stick. So there are a few ways. You could use edible glue to be brushed over on the cake, but not too much. You don't want it to be like really very sticky, and a lot of moisture is also not good. Or you could also use shortening. Just take some shortening and then rub it all over the surface of the fondant. And I'm using shortening would just help you to be able to remove, peel off in case you just misplaced the lace. Then you could just go ahead and then kind of peel it out and then place it a little differently if in case you're just not too confident about how you're going to place the lace. And also now this cake is the one that we will be using on the wedding cake, and it's already been draped and also doweled, so just getting it prepared for stacking. You could do this applying of lace even before the doweling part, like after draping you're just ready to go ahead and then put over any decoration on top of that. However, with the cornflower marks here, I'm just going to show we could just remove the cornflower marks by just steaming over the cake. So I'm just going to steam over. Now when I'm going to steam on the cake, I'll anyway be showing you how to do that. I put it on the turntable and then keep moving the turntable and then let the steam pass on. We don't want to add too much, but just being a little far away and then getting the steam on the cake. Now by doing that, we achieve 2 things. We just get the cornflower marks out of the cake and then it starts becoming clean and shiny. And it also catches up on that moisture for some time until it just kind of evaporates. And using that moisture, I'm just going to use that as the glue and place the lace and then stick the lace on the cake. So let me just start with the steaming part. So I have the steamer with me. I just switched it on. I'm just going to wait for the steam to pass. You see all the cornflower marks are just gone, and then the cake also starts to look shiny. I think that should be enough. Now that I know this is moisture, I have to be pretty careful where I'm placing it. I'm just going to hold the lace and I'm going to just focus on the bottom. Gently turn the turntable. because there's moisture everywhere, and that very light and mild moisture, it will just stick by itself. Just go ahead and then use your fingers in case you feel like the lace is just lifting over up and not placed well on the cake. Okay, so this looks good. I'm not sure if it is like going to be quite enough. In case if there is a gap, we'll see that will be the back, but I'm just going to start right from here. Just getting the bottom aligned. Just focus on the bottom. It's quite right enough except for a gap. I think that doesn't matter. It could just be the back of the cake. You could just have like, or it could also be the front just in case. Then you could just place some beads and then actually make it look like part of the decoration. Just stick the lifted places of the lace. And now only as long as the steam or the moisture from the steam is going to be there, it will just go and stick. So otherwise it's just a little difficult to just go even apply water at the back of the lace, adding too much extra moisture. So just make sure everything is just stuck well. I can't even feel that the moisture is there. It's already kind of drying up. So I'm just going to use my hands to just touch all through. So my lace is kind of stuck, and either I could just leave this edge as it is if I like it to go along with the cake, or then I could just use a small scissors to just keep snipping around, so I kind of show the sharp edges and get the lace to the height of the cake. Both the ways, it is just our choice how we want to finish doing the lace. So here we have the lace just gone beautifully on the cake. Now I will get back in the next lesson.